Hello, and welcome back to Conquering Your Commander, the YouTube series where I speak a lot and put pretty pictures on your screen. This week we'll be looking at the Maplewood with the most. This is Doran the Siege Tower. Costing a pittance at 1 black, 1 green, and 1 white, Doran the Siege Tower has a massively warping ability and decent stats to boot. Doran's ability is often the primary reason people run him, and reads as such. Each creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. That's a pretty bizarre ability, right? That is, until you look at his 0 power and 5 toughness. We essentially get a 5 power, 5 toughness commander for only 3 mana. His ability also creates interesting dilemmas for our opponents, who might favor high power and low toughness creatures in their deck. More of an aggro-based commander than his combo or attrition-based wedge family, Doran wants to be built in one of 2 ways. I've seen him built as tribal treefolk, or an Abzan/Teneb/junk good stuff deck. For the enjoyment of you lovely viewers out there, I'll look at a mix of the 2 for this deck, so it'll be partly tribal and partly good stuff. Some of the best creatures with the highest toughness are walls. Oftentimes they're overlooked in EDH, as they can't attack, but if built correctly, this deck can really value a good wall. Wall of Blossoms and Wall of Omens can act as cantrips with the perk of blocking early. They'll sit on the board and then once we have relevant enchantment or creatures out, can swing for a decent amount of damage. Overgrown Battlement can provide us with some serious ramp if we run a decent amount of defenders/walls. Wakestone Gargoyle is an important inclusion. It has a decent body and a powerful ability that should not be overlooked. For only 2 mana, one of which is white, all of our creatures can swing as though they didn't have defender. Since we're going to be running a primarily defender-based deck, this is really important to have. Abzan Beastmaster can provide us with a reliable, recurable card draw, because let's face it, few decks will be running creatures with as high toughness as we are. Oathsworn Giant is basically a lord for all of our creatures that can provide them with vigilance and +2/+2. This is very good. Timber Protector is another great but limited lord type card that makes it incredibly difficult to deal with Doran. It also doubles by protecting our forest/forest-based duels. Assault Formation is a very new but very welcome addition to any Doran deck. It fills an important slot by acting as a secondary Wakestone Gargoyle. It can also act as a pump for only 3 mana. Rolling Stones is a great band, but it also acts as redundancy in this deck. We always want to have access to this type of ability, so running as many as we can is a reliable way to make sure that we can hit them. You'll also probably want to run a decent amount of card draw enchantments, so Phyrexian Arena and Sylvan Library will do a great job for that. Aura Shard should probably be on everyone's list for auto-includes for any deck that has access to green and white. It's probably one of the best ways to remove artifacts and enchantments in the format. Lastly, Spider Silk Armor basically acts as another pump anthem and provides our army with reach. We are probably running the 3 colors with the best access to removal in the game. Black and white can deal with creatures, while green and white can hate out any problems via temporary or permanent exile. Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Beast Within, the list goes on forever in terms of removal and things that you can run at instant speed. There are also 2 cool cards I'd like to mention, Reach of Branches and Root Grapple. Reach of Branches and Root Grapple are fun tribal cards that you can run, but are a bit expensive in terms of mana. If I had to pick between the 2 of them, I'd probably go with Root Grapple since you can deal with non-creature permanents and it can sometimes generate us a card. Fell the Mighty is a potentially one-sided board wipe given you choose the right creature. This can do some pretty serious legwork in terms of getting us back in the game if we're being overwhelmed with huge creatures. If Doran's on the field, you'll always want to pick him as the primary target for the spell since anything over 0 gets destroyed, which is frankly almost everything. Green Sun Zenith is probably one of the best ways to tutor for creatures to the field. Since most of our creatures are treefolk or green based, it's really not that hard to see why this is such a great card. Basically, it can act as a second copy of almost any silver bullet. Slagworm Armor and a Quarter Shield are fun ways to pump up our creatures for a small investment of mana for sure, but Warmonger's Chariot is where we really want to be. Giving our creature +2/+2 and allowing defenders to attack is very much worth the 2 mana it costs to cast this spell and the 3 mana it costs to equip it. Meekstone can offer us a hilariously one-sided continuous effect to creatures. Since most of our defenders will have a power between 0 to 2, we can attack and tap with no worries about being delayed by Meekstone. Our opponents might not be able to say the same. There aren't really any impactful lands for Doran, but you can consider Forbidding Watchtower as a rattlesnake or hidden attacker / blocker if you need one for emergencies. Well, mesdames et messieurs, that was my take on Doran the Siege Tower. I hope I gave you some ideas to percolate on when building your own Doran the Siege Tower EDH deck. Please, let me know if you found some cards that you've really enjoyed in running the deck. I'd love to hear about them. As always, thank you for watching, and be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more EDH action.